What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Left Black. My name is Kevin Cox. I'm your host. So here we are again. Netanyahu, just like I said in the last video, talking about the Hamas IDF conflict. Netanyahu does not want peace. He got offered a ceasefire by Hamas and basically just says no. So let's just hear let's hear some coverage about it. And this isn't from ABC or NBC or Fox News. This is from a different set of people who actually seem like they're a little bit more connected.
It's day 125 of the Israel-Hamas war. 27,000 people killed, over 65,000 injured. Half of Gaza is a mound of rubble, but Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is not done yet. He was offered a ceasefire deal. Hamas proposed a pause in fighting along with exchange of hostages. Israel was expected to come up with its own counteroffer, but Prime Minister Netanyahu has rejected the deal. He described the terms as quote-unquote bizarre. And he has vowed to fight until complete victory. But what is complete victory? And what will it cost the region and the world? Also, will Netanyahu's allies support this dismissal? Here's a report.
Israel's war with Hamas has dragged into its fifth month. The death toll is rising. 139 hostages remain in Hamas captivity. Diplomacy continues behind doors. But Benjamin Netanyahu has one objective: destroying Hamas, no matter what the cost. The Israeli Prime Minister has rejected a new ceasefire proposal. It came from Hamas. It reportedly had 3 phases. Phase 1 included a 45-day pause in fighting. Israeli hostages would be exchanged for Palestinian prisoners, mainly women and children. Israeli forces would withdraw from Gaza and reconstruction of hospitals would begin. Then there's Phase 2. Remaining Israeli male hostages would be exchanged. Israeli forces would leave Gaza, and in Phase 3, both sides would exchange remains and bodies. The deal would see a 135-day pause in fighting. Aid would enter Gaza, injured would get medical treatment, and the Strip would get some respite, especially after 125 days of conflict.
Now, just hearing that right there, here's a question. Does that sound reasonable, or does that just sound like terrorist demands? Like $5 million and give me all your gold? No, it sounds like, hey, let's stop shooting each other. Let's give captives back. Let's just stop the bleeding and let's figure something out. It sounds totally reasonable to me. And if up until now, if anything sounds unreasonable by what Hamas is asking, please let me know. What am I missing here? Where's my blind spot?
We have now given our responses to our brothers in Qatar and Egypt. On their part, they have handed it over to the Americans and handed it over to the other party. Now we are waiting for the response of the other side. We hope that, God willing, this matter will go on. Now people are waiting for what will be the response of the other party.
So Hamas came up with a proposal. Israel was expected to come up with its own proposal, something to counter Hamas's initial terms. But Netanyahu has now outrightly rejected their terms. He has called them bizarre.
There is no solution other than total victory. If Hamas survives in Gaza, it is only a matter of time until the next massacre and the axis of evil of Iran and its proxies will continue its campaign of killing and aggression without interruption. Only a total victory will allow us to restore security in Israel, both in the north and in the south.
So Netanyahu says victory will come, but the question is at what cost? Meanwhile, the Israeli Prime Minister ordered troops to move into Rafah. It is the biggest city in Gaza's far south. 1 million Palestinians are seeking refuge there. A military operation could spell disaster. But Netanyahu is pressing on. But his actions aren't going down too well, both with his allies and with the people of Israel. Let's look at the allies first. Support for Israel's war is waning. Ceasefire is the need of the hour. US Secretary of State is already in West Asia He even met the Israeli Prime Minister. Discussions are underway.
Now, look, Secretary Blinken was looking a little uneasy right there. He's gone overseas, I think, 5 different times, and has come back empty-handed every time. It looks like Netanyahu just wants to continue with his genocide. He's like, basically, I'm going to keep going until it's total victory. But just as she asked, what is victory here? You're destroying people. Hamas isn't. I don't see anybody saying Hamas is making any more major attacks. They've made they've made some captures. Israel's made captures. So I'm really wondering what the victory he's looking for is. It looks like an extermination. And it was ironic that he actually said when in his response that the only solution. I seem to remember a certain man talking about a solution when he was trying to deal with the Jewish problem. He was talking about a final solution. It's just history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. You know, these are echoes and reverberation. Genocide and just full-blown ethnic cleansing, they just are what they are. You can't stay on the side of this for too much longer. When you've lost any moral high ground. I've already covered that. Moral high ground gone, but America can't continue to support you. Biden, if he wants to be reelectable remotely, he's going to need to stop military aid unless you accept a ceasefire offer, period. That's what's going to need to happen. I'm not supporting Democrats, but if you want to get a vote from anybody that's pragmatic and actually wants things to get done, they can't vote for Biden if he's sending money into this. This would be the opposite of what America stands for and what any red-blooded American, anybody with a beating heart in their chest could actually be okay with. So I hope you are just, blustering and posturing right now, Mr. Netanyahu. And let's look further into this.
They are being mediated by Egypt and Qatar. Blinken hoped for a breakthrough here, but all he got was Netanyahu's rejection. And it could be seen as a snub. But the US Secretary of State says there is still hope.
What I can tell you about these discussions is that while there are some clear non-starters in Hamas's response, we do think it creates space for agreement to be reached. And we will work at that relentlessly until we get there.
As for the people of Israel, they want the hostages back home. Netanyahu says ending Hamas is the best way to get them back. But the citizens don't agree. Which explains why the Israeli Prime Minister is losing popularity. When the war started, Israelis backed the military action. But 5 months in, all they care about is the fate of the hostages. They believe the only feasible option to free the hostages is to strike another deal with Hamas, something Netanyahu refuses to do right now. So what happens next? Hamas has proposed a ceasefire. Netanyahu says no. He believes a win will come, even if it takes months. But what does a complete victory even mean? Does it mean saving the hostages or just ending Hamas? Netanyahu may have rejected it now, but as calls for a ceasefire grow louder, how long can the Israeli Prime Minister ignore it?
I gotta say, y'all, it looks to me like Netanyahu needs those hostages to be killed. He needs Hamas to continue to strike. Hamas is saying, "Hey, we lose, man. Let's talk about it. Let's start making exchanges and find a way towards peace. We did what we had to do for a moment to get your boot off of our neck. We fought you and clawed to take a gasp of air. And you know what? I can't take this beating no more. Let me take a break." And you're like, "No, I gotta beat you to death now. I have my boot on your neck. You didn't want to choke to death slowly. Now I gotta beat you to death." That's what it looks like. Quick analogy there. I don't know what to say, man. So where do we go from here? Where do we go from here in America? Also, you're losing support of the Israeli community. Hopefully, American Jewish people are going to reel back their ideological support for the IDF in this conflict as well, because I've been hearing. Look, I live near a large, substantial sized Jewish community here in the Los Angeles area. and they're very much so emotionally tied to this, and understandably so. Just like kind of how we were, the black community were during Black Lives Matter. You see some dead black children, and next thing you know, you're stuck into your category. You're stuck on your team, and you dig your toes down into the dirt, and you can't budge, right? Even ideologically so. Same thing going on in the Jewish community here in America. So I'm not faulting them. It's hard not to get emotionally tied to this, but we have to step away from the emotion and think with our brains here for a second. They shouldn't have. Hamas shouldn't have attacked you. Did you take a second to stop and think, why did Hamas attack? Was there any reason? Was it just because they hate you and want you to not be there anymore, and not want you to no longer exist? Or is there anything else? Could it be possibly that the borders have constantly been pushing them further and further away from their own lands where they've been living for centuries, if not millennia? I mean, so we have to understand both sides of this, and then just say killing the entire other side isn't probably the solution. That's probably not the solution. This is interesting coverage, and that's all I got to say on it. Netanyahu needs this. He needs it. Netanyahu can't commit the genocide he wants unless those hostages from October 7th die. If he finds out that they're dead, then he can implement his final solution, and that's what he's marching towards. I said it. Cancel me. Channel's not even monetized. See you guys later, man. Once again, my name is Kevin Cox. Thanks for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe. Share this to someone that you like, and comment down below. Let me know what I'm missing here. Where's my blind spot? What was the non-starter that Blinken was saying? What are these non-starters that I didn't hear? They said some things in the thing were non-starters. What, like you want me to stop shooting you for 45 days? What's the non-starter? What am I missing, guys? Please comment below. All right, specifically. All right. Thanks again, y'all. Peace.